Kid Cudi is back, and this time he's here to grace us with a soundtrack that is a companion to his film, Entergalactic. But was it a good soundtrack? Let's find out right here today on InCrowd Network. Now, I was going to start this review with singing because the album makes me want to sing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Kid Cudi's 15-track, 45-minute soundtrack that is a companion to the Intergalactic film. Now, we reviewed that film right here on InCrowd Network. If you did not see the review, I implore you to go take a look at that because I enjoyed that film very much, and I can gladly say the same thing about this album. I enjoyed this album. I don't know how Kid Cudi did it. I don't know how he found the time to create such a good film as well as create such a good album. This guy is back. I don't know if you remember, but a few years back, he was having some mental health issues and things weren't going too well for him. Ever since he released Man on the Moon 3, which was another fantastic record of his, he's been on a roll, and I like the trajectory that he has going for him. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Entergalactic. It's the album, again, to the companion piece, Netflix film. Check it out. This is, I guess we could put this somewhat in the hip-hop / electronic / rap category because it has all of those different themes going for it. It's got some electronic music. It's got some hip hop because Cudi sings and raps on this. There are a lot of hip hop inspired beats on this album with some electronic flair kind of sank in there. And then it's got a little bit of a soulful edge going for it as well. Also, because the film that it is the companion piece to is more of a romantic film, you get that romanticism here on the album. Now, this album has some decent features. We've got 2 Chainz, we've got Don Toliver, we've got Steve Aoki, we've got Ty Dolla $ign. But those were not necessary features on this album because Cudi does a really good job of carrying this album by himself. Now, the standout track for me, She's Looking For Me, is a good example of what I mean. That is one of the most beautifully arranged tracks on the album. It's got a really nice hip-hop inspired beat at the bass. It's got some synthesizers on there, but what really makes this track stand out is Cudi's singing. And I'm not going to try to replicate what he was singing, but there's a really catchy part of the song where he says, why? It almost sounds as if he has some sort of an electronic synthesizer weirdness going on with his voice, but it works on the track. I find it to be extremely addictive listening to that track. And for me personally, like I said, it is the standout track on the album. But there are some really good tracks on here as well. We've got Don Toliver showing up on 2 of the 15 tracks. And if you know me, Don Toliver is one of my favorite artists right now. He does a great job on these songs. Don Toliver just adds another layer that just would not have existed if you didn't have Don Toliver. Surprisingly, we've got Steve Aoki on the last track. The last track is very electronic inspired, still with the hip hop beats, a little bit of soulfulness, but for the most part, this is very much an orgy of electronic music here, and it is a very good track. So it's one of the tracks that I suggest listening to. If you check this album up, you will not be disappointed at all. I'm going to come in with a 7 for this album. This album is a great album. It's an amazing companion piece to the actual film, and it stands alone. I really did not expect this to stand alone like it did. Usually when you see a film and you hear the soundtrack kind of doesn't stand on its own unless you have the visuals to complement it. That is not the case here. This album stands alone. It's a great album. Kudos to Kid Cudi. I mean, I don't know how this guy did it. Within the same year to put out a film and an album like this is an amazing comeback. But anyway, you guys tell me what you guys think. Am I wrong here? Is this album a piece of trash or is this a good album? Let me know. Personally, I loved it. Let us know what you think. Please comment below. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and show us some love. Come back, check out all of the other reviews on the podcast. Listen, we're building a huge network here for you. So we need that interaction, okay? Anyway, guys, I'm Aaron. This is InCrowd Network. This was the review of Entergalactic, the album Kid Cudi. Peace.